And as I studied the culture that our ancestors created around this principle, allowed us, not just in study and rhetoric, but allowed us through the way that we live and relate with women and children and each other as men. It allowed us to begin to embody these principles as a way of life. And that way of life is fully alive and well in Africa and indigenous cultures around the world today. It's understanding that the divine feminine is the pathway to oneness with Asa. This has been such a powerful revelation because it brought to light so many things that I've observed about myself, about the way the men in my family are with women, the women in their family, how they speak about their mothers, how they position themselves as fathers. It taught me, it gave me a named framework to not only see the nature of how they were being, but to understand how to build my life in accordance. And because of that, family, I made it my duty to design. I made it my duty. My mom and dad made it my duty a long time ago to design my world in accordance to aligning with God's calling in my life. And as I sought to do that on every level, through the church, through the mosque, and this is no shade at all, by the way, none. Everyone is in their own game. So I respect you for wherever you're at. But I'm here giving you my truth. And if you sat down to listen to it, all honors to you. The number one way that I was able to do that, to honor that principle that was put in me, was reframing my relationship with the feminine. Truly understanding through study the role of the divine feminine in a man's life. This is hugely important because any proper man is going to tell you that there's two reasons he does what he does. For God and for the women in his life. And those two positions are not by accident. That is the spiritual order. The pathway to aligning with God's calling in your life is only honored through your relationship with Ma'at. This isn't my words. It is my word. I didn't make this up. This is spiritual law. What is called the Holy Spirit is Ma'at. And the only way to honor that, as a man especially, is through your relationship with Ma'at, and by proxy, Because ma'at is a feminine principle for a reason. Ma'at is a black goddess for a reason. And so we refine that connection with God through our connection with the women in our lives. Mothers, sisters, wives, daughters. We refine that understanding through the way in which we serve the physical representations of Ma'at in earth. Who is that? It's the woman. They are the physical representations of the gateway to heaven. And that is why you can't get enough of them. And that is why you are so motivated by them. That is why they are, with no armor, with no guns, no bombs, they can reduce you to your animal state. If your genuine path that you're seeking is not the Most High. They made you, everything you have was designed in a function that lives inside of them. You can't be a woman. But a woman can't be God. You see, and again, you only refine that relationship through the women who remind you. And this is where, if you're a woman listening, and I know there's a lot of women listening to this is where your role in a man you love's life is important. This is a question to ask yourself when you're going out there dating. If your intentions when dating is to find a man who loves Asa, loves God, who seeks to be one with his creator so he can be the best man for you or any potential wives that he will have, and the world at large, if that's your intention, sis, then you have to understand who that man's God is and what spiritual laws he is accountable to. Because that will tell you how far he's willing to go for everything. And that will give you your line of communication when you're relating with him. And that will ultimately allow you to uplift that man to serve you better. But if it's just for your own self-interest, then you can get a kick out of seducing him. And that might be your role. You know what I'm saying? Are you in the game? No. Everyone's got their game. But this is spiritual law.